Swiggity sorty, let's get that booty.
Okay, people, welcome back. I got a lot to tell you. We back again for another episode, another week. We made it through. Here we are on a nice Monday. I get to sleep in a little taste and I wake up at 5 a.m. and start recording. And I'm going to tell y'all why in just a few seconds. But first, before we get into that, hello, welcome to the Slim Cogcast. My name is Slim Cognito, and unfortunately, I'm black. Now, to jump right in and let y'all know what I've been playing this week, I've been going hard on Okage the Shadow King for the past couple weeks, man, and I've been enjoying myself. It's been pretty good, but that damn Last of Us Part 2 came out, man. Because I have played more of Okage King and reached a bit of a climax, a great, mysterious part of the story. But as I got done with that, and I realized one of the things that I was working on as a project on the side for you guys in order to bring you better content is I needed a better machine. Okay. I had a laptop with a cracked screen. Almost half of the screen is not visible. And it was very slow. I think it was like a dual core processor, and I think it clocked in at about 2 point something gigahertz, maybe 1 point something. And it was terrible, like not to shit on it completely because it got me through. I've had it for about 4 years, but it was very rough 4 years. And that's what I started this whole project on. That's where I started all my YouTubes, even my old uploads that was like back in 2017, 2016. Like all of that started from the laptop until I learned how to produce better. But yeah, even though she was faithful and she keeps, trying, I had to let it go so that I could get something that works more efficiently and as well be able to bring more diverse content to you guys. So, in the midst of me playing Okage, I took a small break after I got to a new area right before another dungeon, and a package arrived at my door. And this package was the final piece to a puzzle that I've been working on for about a month. And that piece was a power supply. That power supply got here. I've been waiting on it for the longest time because not only were most of them out of stock because a lot of people have been buying and building PCs or upgrading their PCs lately, but also I had to settle for a lower wattage PSU, which it's more than enough wattage that I need. But I was waiting on it for so long thanks to COVID and the shortages, in-house. And then, some of the parts had to be back ordered. Like the motherboard had to be back ordered. And to get to the point, finally we have all the pieces. And that, was it Thursday? No, Wednesday. That Wednesday, the parts arrived on Monday. The part arrived Monday, right after I got done uploading last week's episode. Wednesday came around, and I decided to go ahead and build it. But the reason I didn't build it that day or Tuesday was because I wanted my younger cousin to, be involved. He also is he makes his own music. He's a music producer. You should check him out. He has good sound. His name is Cdo. That's CDOE, capital CD, lowercase OE, on Spotify. Check him out. And I guess I would like, that's something that he's always wanted to do as well, which building a PC has been like a 10-year dream of mine as well. But this is something that I wanted him to be involved with, and it was a good time, and he got a chance to experience it for the most part. So I do want him to come and see the finished product. He hasn't been back just yet, but he's a young teen with a vehicle. I wouldn't be able to stay still either, so it's hard to catch up with him. Plus, he's making music, so he's busy. But I got the chance to see him just as happy as I was to see this, and he helped me build it. So yeah, this machine is complete and it's working perfectly. I'm actually recording using it right now. We're using a B450 motherboard, and we have a 2600 AMD Ryzen 5 processor with a 1660 GeForce GTX GPU graphics card. And it works so well that also the PSU is a 450 watt, and it works so well that I'm blown away. I haven't felt this much processing power ever in my life. It's amazing. It's so snappy and responsive. I've been beaming and happy for the past several days. There's been several things that tried to make me unhappy, but this right here, I feel elated right now. I'm more than happy. So we have the PC built and ready, and you guys are gonna see some streams, maybe some PC game streams. Well, not maybe. Of course, there definitely will be. And of course, we won't leave the PS4 completely behind because, of course, I have a huge library of games purchased on the PS4 that I have to still play and get through with, as well as I like my PlayStation. I don't know how else I can explain it, but yeah, we have more of that coming as well. Now, another thing I wanted to mention was Friday came along, and I had to go and redeem my, my third pre-order in my entire life. First being Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Second being God of War for the PS4. And this third one would be The Last of Us Part 2. And then third one being The Last of Us Part 2. Now, of course, with this being trending, popping, and something I've been waiting on for years and years, I had to immediately transition over to The Last of Us. Immediately. I needed to play it. So, for the first time, not only am I juggling like 4 games, but also I'm going to complete this one completely, go ahead and finish it, and then get back to my usual game. So that way I won't completely, leave them behind or, have them by the wayside, because that's one of the main reasons why I try not to multitask or juggle too many games, is because sometimes you'll never finish them. So yeah, finishing games, huh? I bet that's a strange concept to a lot of people, but yeah. Now, I know you guys want me to talk about it, and it's been almost 10 minutes in, so let's talk about The Last of Us. The Last of Us 2, so far, I've decided to do a little review myself to put my opinion in the pot. Because I see a lot of negativity surrounding the game about a lot of people, feeling this way or that way. And that's to come with any huge title that comes out. Even when God of War came out, a lot of people had opinions that didn't make any sense. Just being negative for no reason about the game, this, that, and etc. And I'm starting to think what the real reason behind that is. And I do want to share that. So, starting with The Last of Us, for now, I'm about, say, more than 40 hours in, because I've been doing about 10-hour sessions, almost 10-hour sessions each time, and yeah, I'm somewhere between the 30-40 hour mark. I'm only going to speak about the first few hours so far, because of course, it's all over the net. There's spoilers everywhere. Actually, you know what? Mark this point. for spoilers, and I'm gonna try to shave it down to about 10 minutes of talking about this. And for anybody who doesn't, who want to avoid the spoilers, go ahead and jump 10 minutes ahead in the podcast, and I'll continue. Okay, so we're gonna start the spoilers on The Last of Us 2 for 10 minutes, starting about now. So, yes, one thing I am mad about when you think about the leaks that got out, I am still salty that Joel died. I was hoping that it was like a dream sequence or something that didn't happen, but I'm hurt with that. But thus far, the game has me playing as Ellie seeking the revenge, and it is justified motivation. Like, I am out here every bit that I can, along with the character, just like her. Like, no matter what, nothing gets in the way of getting this revenge. I'm going here, we're gonna go there, we're gonna follow every lead, we're gonna do what we can, we're gonna kill who we gotta, we're gonna take what we gotta in order to get through, survive, and get revenge for Joel. And I want that revenge. And, one of the things that they do, though, they've been flipping it and make you play as Abby, the girl who killed Joel. And Abby, the thing about Abby is, it turns out she's the daughter of the surgeon who was getting ready to perform the operation and procedure on Ellie at the end of the first game. So you did physically kill her father in The Last of Us 1, which is an amazing tidbit of storytelling and how it all unraveled. And her daughter harboring that makes sense. No, there's no bond closer than a mother and her son and a father and his daughter. No bond stronger. And when it comes to losing your father, that's a terrible pain. That's a terrible, terrible pain. So when it comes to that, I understand. And I see what the game's trying to do. They're showing you how it's respectable and understandable from both sides. The human nature reactions and actions that they're carrying out. What Ellie's doing to us is justified. But once you step into Abby's shoes, her actions seem justified as well. And the more time you spend with her, the more you're seeing her human side. They humanize her, and you almost feel bad, but still my human nature is welling up to the point where I'm like, no, I don't care. I didn't care as much about her father as much as I did about Joel, because I went on adventures and got to know Joel. I bonded with Ellie as Joel. I helped Joel carry out the choices that he made that got us here. So, no, I still want the revenge. And I hadn't finished the game yet, but I'm anxious to find out what happens. Still gonna stream some more of it this evening. But it's just, I feel so many different emotions. So many different emotions. Like, there's so many people died. Characters died that I did not expect would. Like, and they do it in such a breakneck pace. Like, it happens in the most calm manner. Everything's just calm and chill. And suddenly, bam, the person dies. Like that. I wasn't, every character death thus far, I was not ready for. Was not ready for. And that's amazing writing, because you don't get time to accept it. Almost like it's a real character, like a real person. So here we are. And I wonder still, I'm like some of the moments that I'm hoping for, and we got one. Whereas I was hoping that somebody's gonna like give it to them straight. Like, just don't hold back nothing. Just fuck feelings. Just tell them the straight up truth, because Ellie needs some truth heard too. Okay, I'm not 100% on her side. All right, I'm on Joel's side, Joel and Tommy's side, because Ellie treated Joel like shit. She didn't appreciate shit that Joel did for her. Okay, everything that he did was out of love. He never directly harmed her, hurt her, or put her in harm's way. He did everything he could as a father to protect her, because that was his fatherly instinct. That was his paternal instinct, fueled by the fact that he lost Sarah. And he was a broken man who had nothing to live for. Fell to the lowest of lows when he was running and doing the things with Tommy that they had to do to survive. He probably did some very nefarious things. But that was when he was broken and he did not have his baby girl anymore. Thanks to this outbreak. Something that happened that was completely out of his control. And then along comes Ellie. And he tries to stay distant. He tries to stay cold and not get attached to her and just do the job throughout the entire game. And she gives him this whole speech about how, no, I'm not going to leave. You're not going to leave me with Tommy, because truth is, I'd be more scared if I was with anybody else, because everybody else has abandoned me except for you. And he still tried to resist becoming attached. And he said, no, you're right. I ain't your daddy. And you sure as hell ain't my daughter. And he's tried so hard, but he gave in. He gave in. He loved her. He loved her and then protected her. That was the whole point of the game. And that's why he could not let her be killed for the hopes of maybe finding a cure. They didn't have a guaranteed cure. It was a maybe. It was a shot in the dark. It was still a gamble. And it wasn't worth it for a person that you truly love and care for. And so he made the right decision and he saved his baby girl. Anybody else in his position would have done the same fucking thing. And if you wouldn't, then you're heartless and you're an idiot. Joel is a stand-up model father figure for any man out there who is fighting for redemption. Anybody who's trying for a second chance. Anybody who's been in a position of trying to care for a younger female loved one. Whether it's a younger sister, younger cousin, step sibling, whatever. If you've ever been an older male to a younger, you don't even have to be a male. Just if you've ever had to care for a younger woman and watch her grow into a woman, care for her, nurture her, and you grow to see her grow and she just bucks against you, treat you like you're the problem in her life, rebel for no reason, just for the sake of some type of self-identity, trying to come into their own, but do it in the most volatile way. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see that happen. And still, in the announcement trailer for E3, Joel came to her rescue when she was kissing Dina. And the old guy come up and said, the last thing we need is another bullheaded dyke or something, she said. Hell yeah, I'd have been right there. How dare you talk about my daughter that way? I will punch you in your shit. And still, she laid into Joel like he did something wrong. And that's fucked up. You don't do that. Clearly he did it because he loved you. Clearly he saved you from the hospital so you wouldn't die for a shot in the dark. But let's get back on topic. I think that those feelings plague Ellie the most. She feels guilty. She feels guilty for the fact that she didn't truly appreciate Joel while he was alive, and he was taken away from her at a moment's notice, just at an instant, when she just couldn't believe it, just didn't know it was going to happen. It was all so sudden. 1 minute you're here and then you're gone like a puff of smoke. It's an important lesson. A lesson that was never told in video games yet until today. It's a powerful lesson. Anybody out there, pay attention. This game came out 2 days before Father's Day. If you have a father or mother or anyone out there, you tell them, I love you. If they haven't been in your life, it's understandable. If they've never done anything for you, it's understandable. But if they've done anything to try to be there, to at least be an ear for you to speak to, or a voice, if they're not the perfect person, because they all have flaws, but just tell them, thank you. I love you. Just once. Because this is real. The same thing happening to Abby, losing her dad at a moment's notice. Not knowing it was going to happen. Going to bed like any other day, any other night. Just go to bed. You have them there. And then you wake up the next day and they're gone. That's a powerful reminder. As much as we get caught up in our narcissism and our nihilism and thinking that it's too much on the boomers and things like that, these people die. Life is not to be taken for granted. It doesn't last forever. And it's a powerful message that I've experienced in a game yet. It's insane. I've never the beauty of a Naughty Dog game is that they structure their writing around the characters and make the people as real as possible, make their interactions with one another as real as possible. That way the story just flows and writes itself. All you need from there is good, solid gameplay. So, that's enough of that, because I'm going to make a separate video about The Last of Us Part 2. And beyond that, let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay in itself has been upgraded, not to an absurd degree, to the point where it's a totally different system, but it's been upgraded and refined perfectly. The skill branches, in the first game, there were certain buffs that you would gain when you find survival manuals or certain type of, instruction booklets. Now those same booklets, they're still there, but now they're used to unlock new branches in your skill tree. With those pills that you use in order to upgrade, even that's been made better, because the skill branches actually have some use. They're actually pretty useful. Depending on, that useful would be, I guess you could say an opinion, because a lot of people would have different, preferences on that, based on what they would prioritize in leveling and how they build the persons. But I personally find that system amazing. As well as the fact that the uniqueness in the characters that you play with Ellie, she still has the pocket knife, and it is very useful for your stealth segments, which is because you play with her early, you get to get into the stealth and you're able to actually, get used to the rules of the stealth game early on, even if you're new to this game, which I don't know why you would play part 2 first, but I'm pretty sure there's some out there. So yeah, even if you would, it still stands to reason, because all story elements, previously mentioned in the spoiler section of the podcast, all story elements of the game are completely not there, but they're just spoken on and then passed on by. So there's details in a complete story that you can still experience with the first game. Now, they've improved so much with this game. Even the listening mode is still pretty useful and almost broken, but it's not as OP as it was in the first game. It's a little more fair, and the AI is much better than it used to be. Characters actually flank you like consistently. Like they will come out, they notice you're there, and they will come and flank you immediately. These characters will notice you and they will flank you immediately. Um, they even communicate. There's a certain faction called the Scars or the Seraphites, and they will flank you, but they communicate with whistles rather than speaking to one another. So you don't know what they're saying or what they're up to unless you're using the listening mode or just using headphones and listening for footsteps. And they will come around and directly shoot you. And another thing that they do is they will not peek and shoot you unless you are peeking and trying to target another person. So you could stand up and peek to shoot another person, try to line up a headshot to make the most out of the ammo, and you'll get shot from the side or from behind because they're, taking advantage of the fact that you're open. So all in all, the game is a huge upgrade in every aspect, from story to gameplay and visual effects, of course, because this is originally developed for PS4 hardware in mind, rather than the limitations of the PlayStation 3, which was not a lot of limitations. The most limitations were the load times. The textures were still great on the PS3 edition, even when they ported it over to 4, which not much changed, but the frame rate option. But it looks amazing, and they still, have the same design philosophy that I prefer when it comes to playing these texture-heavy, good-looking games, and that's preload most of the assets when you boot the game. That one scene, that scene with it's just a dark screen with particle effects at the start of PS3, The Last of Us 1 or PS4 version, The Last of Us 1, that was the loading screen to preload most of the assets. Whereas in The Last of Us 2, it's a light shining with a bunch of, they could be fireflies or gnats or whatnot, or fruit flies, whatever they may be, flying around this light, and it's cool. Now, The Last of Us, all in all, I can't give a compiled opinion on it because it's not done yet. I hadn't finished it yet, so I wonder what's going to happen. I do hope for some type of redemption, and I feel like I'm like right toward the end, but then more game keeps happening, so I don't know. But yeah, we'll tune in for the stream and we'll get down to that. So all in all, that's what I've been playing this week. We're about at the 30-minute mark, and it's time for the news. Bruh, if y'all knew what type of feelings I was feeling, bro, I was in all types of feelings, bro. Like, I had so many feels. Last night, I had to turn the game off. I was pushing myself to keep playing it. I couldn't keep playing it. Like, I was feeling some type of way. And, some of it was a relief because I got some news later on in the story that eased my mind. But, let's stop talking about that. No more spoilers and things, all right? Anyway. Yeah. Let's get into the news. Kicking it off, Spider-Man Miles Morales trailer was hit by a copyright strike on PlayStation's YouTube channel, which is hilarious. Okay, now, gotta let you know, I did upload the Miles Morales trailer in last week's podcast. And no, I did not get a copyright strike for it. However, I did receive a copyright strike for Resident Evil 8, Biohazard 8, The Village trailer, and a copyright strike for Pragmata, which oddly enough should be, this whole copyright deal is just too stupid. If you're allowing traffic to websites and these news sites with these articles and whatnot, like Polygon, Kotaku, PC Gamer, and they're allowed to post a YouTube link to your trailers. That trailer is hosted on their website. It's only found because people went and clicked that article. So any channel out there that reviews or, critiques or podcasts and whatnot who discuss the game and would like to use the trailer and post it, then it's understandable, okay? Especially when a channel like mine, which doesn't even have the audio included, okay? It's just the video. Okay, that should be transformative enough, honestly, because the fact that I'm speaking over it should be enough, but it's not. But hey, that's the rite of passage. Basically, I just tweeted out when I got the notification. I just said, well, I'm a real YouTuber now. So, and I do want to bring you guys those type of things. And we're not partnered yet, but we want to go ahead and be in good graces before we get to that point. And look, we don't need to make them type of risk, especially since, so many people talking about the demonetization apocalypse and whatnot. So we got to get there. We need to play the part in order to get there. Now, I'm sorry. I won't be able to do those types of videos for you guys anymore. Because I did want to include like trailers and whatnot. But I suppose for those of you listening on Anchor and Spotify and Apple Music and everywhere else, I'll just not worry about those type of things and just keep it simple. And for those who do watch it on YouTube, you will be greeted with the usual. I will still put forth the effort to put some gaming content in for you to enjoy. So there you have it. So yeah, and hopefully this will make something happen, because it's a shame that even PlayStation themselves, who quote unquote own the content that they uploaded, still got copyright stricken. So, oh well. Anywho's, let's move forward. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, announced, and that's the actual title of the game. It's about time, because frankly it is about time. Crash Bandicoot 4 has been announced, and there is a trailer available with a new design for the man himself, which I'm not completely against, but in order for him to be interesting to a new audience, a fresh coat of paint ain't something we can get mad at. I like it. Looks nice to me. Can't be madish. But yeah, new Crash. What's not to like? Hopefully it'll be properly priced based on the content that's included. That's the delta. The quality, the amount of content, and then the price is the true delta of every video game, especially when it comes to platformers. So let's hope. Here's to hoping that it's gonna be just as long or more, or longer, than its predecessors, I suppose. So yeah, and me personally, I did not play any of the PS2 Crash games, the ones like Twin Sanity and whatnot. I tried to play but could not finish it. It was scratched. So yeah, but yeah, that's what that is. Moving on though, Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad game domains were registered by Warner Brothers. So they registered these domain names called Gotham Knight, Suicide Squad, and Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, or something like that. And that's intense. So if these domain names have been claimed, what do they have in store? What are they planning? You gotta wonder that. So hey, looks like we got something coming up on the horizon, and I'm super interested in that because, hey, me like the comics. But yeah, not much else to say about that. Hopefully they'll have something in the works though. Hey, it might even be that new game that NetherRealm Studios is working on. Oh shit, yeah, think about it. The entire Suicide Squad, because you pretty much have their roster and the voice actors ready from Injustice. of the Suicide Squad's full roster is almost pretty much included. You just got to put like what was the shark? What's the name of the guy? I forget. Killer Shark or something like that. And it's all of them pretty much there. You know, you got Deadshot, you got Harley Quinn, everybody else. You know, boom, bam. Won't be too bad, too hard to do. A few animations can be reused as assets to maximize the development expense, I guess you could say. So yeah, on the horizon for that, gonna be keeping an eye on that. Gonna keep up with that for sure. Next, The Last of Us 2 sales smash record and becomes Sony's fastest selling PS4 exclusive game, which I think the previous record was held by, it was either Uncharted or God of War. I'm not sure, but if it's beat those, then yeah, that says two things. One, more people are pre-ordering, and if they're pre-ordering, they mean they're actual fans of the game. And two, there's more PlayStation owners out there, which kind of saddens me that well, it'll be fine. If they said that the PS5, yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention. The news dropped. There was an interview that dropped right after the last week's podcast was uploaded, that the PlayStation 5 will be backward compatible with the PlayStation 4, which it should be. You know, by comparison, they're the same design architecture, the 4 and the 5, whereas the architecture for the 3 was completely different and completely unique to that system, which is why it was hard to develop for in the first place. But now it should be much easier to do so with backward compatibility. I do, however, personally believe that they should be able to, they should have an in-house emulator that should be able to run on PlayStation 5 hardware. Okay, because there are PlayStation 3 games that are running, albeit, you know, not games that push the system to its limit, but there are PlayStation 3 games that are running in PC emulators. And emulators have a lot of overhead processing in order to emulate the hardware using software. But all in all, it should be possible for an in-house emulator. Moving forward, though, yes, I like to see these sales. That's good. And it also means that the lessons that's being taught in this story hopefully will reach more people. Of course, it's going to go over a lot of people's heads. There are people to this day that still don't understand the stories behind Metal Gear or the underlying themes of The Last of Us 1 or God of War, for that matter. Hell, the original God of War trilogy, or I guess you could say pentology, the original 5 God of War games actually had good stories to them. So, and there were, you know, some deep underlying things in there. But the fourth one, the most recent, is probably has the most depth character wise. But yeah, I like to see those sales numbers, so that's a good thing. Facebook Gaming was rejected by Apple App Store for the 5th time. Facebook Gaming, for those who don't know, I don't know if I reported on this or not, but I did read the article, I remember. Facebook Gaming is an app where they're going to be hosting their own proprietary gaming, I guess you say, library for people who want to game via Facebook or through their Facebook account. And they're trying to expand into the gaming, industry, because it's bigger than movies. It's bigger than TV. It's bigger than music. Okay. Gaming is huge and it's getting bigger and bigger by the month. Yeah, by the month. So yeah, gaming, all ages. It's becoming more inclusive. More people are able to do it. VR gives better capabilities for people with the PlayStation 5 sound design, hardware and whatnot, and development with Epic Games and everyone else. They're now developing the means to make video games for the blind. Just think about that concept. So yes, amazing. Also, the fact that this was declined from the Apple App Store is because Apple has its own gaming app. I forget, the name escapes me right now, because honestly, I don't really care for the Apple brand myself personally. Not saying that it's bad, but it's just not my preference, not even remotely my preference. But they have their own gaming app that they are trying to spearhead with. It's basically Steam, but Apple. You know what I mean? Basically is what they're trying to do. They're trying to run a gaming store on Apple products and make some type of equivalent to Steam for the MacBooks and the Mac OS. So yeah, there you have it. And they don't want any competition. It's very simple. It's not that hard to realize, especially since they've declined the Facebook app 5 times. It's clear that they don't want any type of competition, because Apple knows that as far as capita and player and user base, Facebook is way bigger than Apple. Okay, just to be clear. Okay, Steve Jobs, rest in peace. I won't speak ill of the dead, but ain't had shit on Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's so big that he don't even want to be that big. It's a problem for him to be that big, but let's move forward. Team Cherry teases a bit more Hollow Knight Silksong with new NPC reveal. And this new NPC that they revealed is supposed to be some type of, I guess you could call it, what do they call her? In reference, I have the article up. Oh, goodness. Oh, well. Basically supposed to be like an old predator that they revealed as an NPC, which is interesting. I don't want to look too deep, and that's why I'm not going too, deep into it, but talk about too much. But I just find it neat to know that the development is going by. I'm just glad to see that the development is still going and is going smooth. So good to know. I'm taking this bit of news as just development is going smooth and everything looks nice. And yes, they did release a little video of it, and it does look nice and it's going smooth. And I do plan on playing it now that I am a Hollow Knight fan, because my Metroidvania itch has been scratched. All right. Next, Apex Legends Switch port has been announced, and I find that dope. If the Switch audience could get into some Apex, because Apex is not that graphically intense of a game. With the new machine, I tested it and I am able to run it well over 60 frames per second. It's so smooth that it's jarring. It's almost throwing me off, really. And yeah, it should be able to run on Switch hardware. And I also included this article to say this. It's a testament to how many games are getting ported to Switch despite it being outside of its graphical grasp, I guess you could say, hardware-wise. But they're willing to downgrade and port a game to the Switch, and now developers are starting to see that just because you can make a game for PS4, Xbox One, and eventually PS5 and Xbox Series X, that doesn't mean it's going to be the best lucrative choice, because despite having graphical detail, despite the lack of graphical fidelity or capabilities in the Nintendo Switch, because it's so consumer friendly as a console and handheld, it sold like hotcakes when the freaking quarantine hit everybody. Sure, there were people buying PlayStation 4s and Xboxes. Sure, there were people building PCs. But there were droves and droves of people buying Nintendo Switches insanely so. I wasn't reading no articles about PlayStation 4s out of stock. I wasn't reading no articles about Xbox Ones out of stock. Of course, One X's. But man, there's a lot of people who own a Switch, and that means that it's a business move, a powerful business move to make sure. I bet they said there are millions of Switch owners out there. We need a percentage of those millions to buy this game. Get it ported and ported now. And now EA and Respawn are like, okay, I guess. And they did. They're doing it. And there's also been rumors. Now, I don't like to report on rumors. Y'all know how I am about rumors. But there's also been rumblings. There's also been rumors. I'll include the article that Apex is going to be ported, is going to be multi-plat. And they're going to make it like, they're going to cross-platform it as well with, I don't know if the Switch players will be cross-platformed, but of course the PS4, PC, Xbox One X players will all be able to play together, which is dope. So, ready for that. I don't know how to feel about the PC players cross-platforming with the consoles again. I'm not really sure about that. And Apex does not have aim assist, as far as I know. I didn't really have aim assist, and if so, it's like a hidden feature, not really, toggleable that I've noticed on console. But yeah, I'm still trying to get used to playing on PC, so whatever. All in all, we'll have to see about that happening. I got to track down that article, and I'll include it in the docket. Moving forward, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales also, I should have put this up at the top. I don't know why I do that sometimes, but hey, we ain't perfect, but we here. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales has an update from Insomniac, which is basically just that's why I was posted on the blog, the PlayStation blog, and it was just the Insomniac developers, head developer, let it be known that they are happy that it had a positive reaction when the trailer was revealed. They were happy that everyone loved the idea of Miles Morales being the main character and heading his own game in the next Spider-Man. And I agree that he should be elated because, let's be honest, with the whole meme going around about go woke, go broke, meaning whenever you represent the minorities or any alternative sexualities, genders, or sexual preferences, then they say that more people will not buy the game. But clearly that's not the case, because The Last of Us is going crazy with the sales, and there's a lesbian girl as the main character. So cool, but then at the same time there's a margin of disregard, since lesbians are widely more accepted than any other aspect of the LGBTQ plus. So anywho, I am glad that he's relieved that everybody loves the idea, and so am I. And I think they did it smart by revealing him at the end of the trailer when they revealed Spider-Man PS4 initially. Then let you get to know him throughout the game, watch him grow, give him a DLC where he did become a full-fledged superhero, and now he's becoming into his own and he has his own game. So we got a chance to watch the character grow. Everybody loves him. He was well written, well developed. So here we come, Miles. Can't wait. Your movie was it was amazing. It's still one of my new top 10 best movies of all time. And he is my wallpaper on my new machine. So yeah, Miles Morales, we can't wait. Also, next thing is Pokemon Snap sequel has been announced for the Switch. People have been waiting on this for years. People have been waiting on I especially have been waiting on a Pokemon Snap sequel on the GameCube, on the Wii, because I was like, oh, you could just control the camera with the Wiimote. That would be great. Why don't they do that? And then they hit the Wii U. It's like, okay, you gotta do it now. The gamepad is perfect for Pokemon Snap. And then finally, the Nintendo Switch, we finally got it. And I'm kind of glad they did, because imagine if they made it and it was stuck on the Wii or the Wii U and it would have to be ported, so I'm glad that this game is going to be going to be developed for a console that's widely owned, more than enough, to handle that type of game. Is going to be great, and I'm all for it. So yeah, Pokemon Snap sequel. What is it? What's it called? New Pokemon Snap, I think. So yeah, that's gonna be dope, and I'm all for it. And lastly, for this week, Resident Evil 8 PS4 version was canceled due to development problems. And the long and short of that is, it's not that much detail to go into. It's just the fact that mechanical hard drive in the PS4 load times are going to be significantly longer on this hardware, because it's not exactly limitation by GPU or CPU for that matter. Only a little bit by GPU, I guess you could say, but the most limitation is load times, because they wanted to be a seamless transition to explore the entire village, stated the developers, and they did not want a lot of load times to slow down those experiences for the player. So there you have it. That's Resident Evil 8 PS4 version, and likely, since it just named PS4, I don't know. Maybe the Xbox One X is gonna be able to handle it. I'm not sure. Cause I don't think it's gonna be mostly solid state drive dependent. You know, hard drives are not that slow. They're getting better by the day. But if that may be the case, then oh well. But they didn't say anything about Xbox. But then this is the PlayStation website that this article is written to. So yeah, I'm pretty much they're sticking to their theme. Pretty much, I assume. Anywho, thank you for stopping by and taking a listen for another episode. And also remember the channel motto: intentions are the most important. Actions ain't nothing but loud, and words don't mean a damn thing. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
Stop. Tripwire.
I saw that shit. I wasn't even finna go that way. Oh! Okay, I didn't see that one. Oh my god. Oh, wow. I'm clipping that.